Awesome, awesome. All right. So welcome everyone. I'm so glad you're here for this special webinar, Empower Your Tomorrow, Preparing for Strength Training for Women. And we are going to spend about an hour together. And I encourage you to put away your distractions, put your cell phone on silence if you can. You can stay away from it for an hour. Just try to be fully present to get the most out of our time together. We will have some time for questions towards the end. And if at any time you want to drop a question in the chat, then I'll be sure to get to it. If you're comfortable introducing yourself, I'd love to see where you're dialing in from. If you want to drop your name and your location in the chat. One of the things that I aim to do with this webinar and with everything I do is create community. So we can get to know each other. We can be here for each other. That can be really powerful too. So I encourage you to feel free to use the chat. We'll be going to that throughout our time together today. Someone else. Awesome. So we've got people from all over. I am in Palm Springs. So I spend about half my time here in Palm Springs, which is Southern California, and the other half of my time near Newport Beach. So I kind of go back and forth. So yeah, let's start. I just wanted to start. So I'm gonna just introduce myself. And then today we are going to be talking about strength training. What is strength training? Why I believe it's important for us to strength train. Why are we not strength training? Breaking down some barriers to strength training. And when should we be doing strength training? And then how? So we're going to be answering a lot of questions. And I am going to be talking about the course that I'm going to be offering, which is a comprehensive program for starting strength training for women. And you will have special access to that during the webinar. So my name is Leka Feynman, and I am almost 57. I'm going to be 57 in a couple of weeks. And I am an athlete, I'm a coach, I'm a mom. I have two grown daughters. They're 21 and almost 25. I'm a dog mom. You see my dog roaming around here. I have been married twice. Currently in a relationship, not married anymore. I specialize in empowering women to feel strong and confident and healthy through all stages of life. I feel that it's my mission to do so. And I am also currently the fittest woman on earth. I won the CrossFit Games in the Masters division this year, this past August. So I feel compelled to share what I've learned over the past 14 years. I started strength training when I was 40. So when I first started, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do a pull-up. I couldn't do a push-up. I couldn't run around the block without stopping. I didn't know what a barbell, I'd never touched a barbell. I didn't know what a kettlebell was. I couldn't jump rope. I really started from ground zero. And I was going through a very stressful point in my life. I was going through a divorce. My marriage was falling apart. I was really, really stressed out. I had like really bad eczema. I was getting like really bad cold sores. I had adrenal fatigue. I was just like a mess. And I found strength training through CrossFit. My brother introduced me to it. And at that point in time, like many of you probably who, if you're around my age, we kind of grew up with this idea that women aren't supposed to lift heavy weights and that we're not supposed to push our bodies too hard and that we might get bulky and we might look like a man. God forbid. I think most men, if you look at middle-aged men, actually, who would want to look like that? And it's I'd rather look like a woman. But anyways, so I walked into this gym and I saw these strong women and they had muscles, and I was so intimidated and scared and but intrigued. And I kept coming back, and I stayed with it through, you know, all these years. And I realized that I needed to let go of this notion that lifting weights was somehow bad. So with that, I want to find out for you why you are afraid of lifting weight or strength training. So, and if any time, let's, you know, drop your fears in the chat. I'd love to hear that. And I also just want to say that it's never too late to start. I'm living proof of that, that it's just really never too late to start. The best time to start is now. So that's really my mantra and my motto. And let's see. So what is strength training? First of all, let's talk about that. When we talk about strength training, what we're talking about are activities that build muscle, specifically using weights and resistance. And that can be a lot of different things. It can be body weight, it can be dumbbells, it can be kettlebells, it can be a barbell, it can be bands. Strength, what is strength? Strength is the ability to exert force or power. And how we build muscle is time under tension. We stress our muscles, and under stress, the muscles break down a little bit, and then they repair and they rebuild and get stronger. So we need to be doing activities that encourage this stress on the muscles and this breakdown. And then we need to feed the muscles with protein so that the muscles will synthesize the protein and get stronger and grow and build, basically. So it's those two things. It's that stimulus to the muscles. It's activities that are going to put the muscles under stress. Remember, not all stress is bad. Some stress is good. We adapt and grow and get stronger. So that's what we're talking about. So I'm really curious, you know, why we haven't, what is stopping you from the strength training? Why aren't we doing it now? If anybody wants to type it in the chat, or if you want to raise your hand. Let's see, I see everyone here. I think I'm seeing the gallery. Okay, commitment, yeah, anxiety, commitment and anxiety. So I think that's what I hear from a lot of people, from a lot of women, is anxiety and fear. Fear of getting started, not knowing maybe. What is fear? Fear is unknown. It's false evidence appearing real. We're worried about something that hasn't even happened, so we don't even know. So we're afraid that something might happen. We're afraid maybe of getting hurt. We're afraid of being injured, or we just don't know what to do. There's a lot of just fear of the unknown, of just being unsure how to get started, where to get, what to do. So, you know, those are some of the common barriers that I see that prevent women from getting started strength training. The other one is that I still feel like a lot of us have this idea internalized that we're not supposed to lift heavy weights. And I really want to create a paradigm shift from losing weight to building muscle. I think that we still have, again, some of us, if we're around, you know, 40 to 50 in that age or older, we still have this internalized belief that we need to restrict ourselves. We need to eat less and do more activity to be skinny or to lose weight. So how about instead, if we say, let's focus on building muscle and getting strong. And okay, if you want to let go of some weight, that's fine too, but that's going to happen. But instead, let's feel confident and strong in what our bodies can do and being able to do the things that we want to do. So eliminating some of those barriers. The first barrier is what's in our mind, right? It's the fear. So I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert that the way to start is to make the decision to start, and to start to be aware of where you're limiting yourself. So what are our self-limiting beliefs? Where are we stopping ourselves? What is the story that we're telling ourselves about why we can't strength train? Just start to be aware of that. What's coming up for you? If it's like you have this little feeling like this is something I should be doing. I'm starting to I'm feeling like I'm not as strong as I was. I can't pick this up. I can't do something. Maybe I have osteoporosis. Maybe I've heard that I need to do this. I know I should be doing it. How are you stopping yourself? Are you telling yourself that you can't? So that it's just starting to notice that and starting to change the story, telling yourself, this is something I can do. I can do activities that build muscle. I can push my body hard. I can put myself in an uncomfortable situation and get stronger and reap the benefits from it. I can do this. Not only I can, I have to. This is something that I absolutely have to do. So the first step is making that decision, noticing the self-limiting beliefs, changing the story, starting to tell yourself you can and you have to and you must. So making it's something that is important and that you need to do. That's really the beginning. So that's the biggest barrier that I see. It's that self-limiting belief. It's the fear of the unknown. And it starts with telling yourself that you can do it. So that's a little bit about what is strength training, and talking about, you know, that paradigm shift of starting to think about building muscle, and instead of losing weight, that building muscle is really the important thing. So why is it important? Why do I believe it's important? Why is it important for women to strength train? So some of the benefits of strength training are, there's so many. Okay, the main reason I do it, and the reason that I think is the most important, is that it makes me feel good. I feel really good when I'm feeling confident in my body, when I'm feeling like I'm able to do the things that I want to do in my life. For me, you know, I won the CrossFit Games. That was a big personal goal that I had. But now I want to be able to lift up my grandchildren. God, pray that I have them someday. I want to be able to be independent. I want to be able to carry my groceries. I want to be able to put my luggage in the overhead bin when I'm traveling. I want to be able to get up and down off the floor. How about you? I mean, what are the things that you want to be able to do in your life? Why is it important for you to be strong? That is the number one reason to me, because I want to be able to do things and be independent, and because it makes me feel really good to feel confident in my body. And that's what I want for all of you. I want you to feel empowered and in your body and feeling like you can, mobility. You don't want to lose muscle mass as we age. So that's another really important reason why it's critical for women to be strength training. We lose muscle as we age. It starts in our 30s. And if there's any women here who are younger, now is the time to start. I mean, strength training is like money in the bank, because we lose it as we age. By the time we're 30, we start losing it, and we lose it faster as we age, at 1% a year, and exponentially we start to lose it as we grow older. So it's super important to be doing activities that are going to build and preserve muscle, because muscle is important for our metabolism. Our skeletal muscle is the biggest organ in the body. It has all our mitochondria, which produces the energy in our body. So it literally keeps us alive. So if one of your fears, one of the reasons why you're not strength training is because you're afraid you're going to get hurt. Well, you're going to get hurt worse if you don't strength train. I mean, the risk of falling and not having the strength to be able to get back up as we age is real. That's, one of the main reasons that people age rapidly, is because as they're older, they fall and they can't get back up because they don't have leg strength and, grip strength. So there's multiple reasons, physical, and the mental benefits are so huge. I mean, the endorphins, right? You know about that. It just feels good to move, and it feels good to be stronger. So there's that. Another reason why it's important for us to strength train as we age is that as our hormones are dropping, right? We're going through this hormonal shift. We're losing a stimulus to our central nervous system that we used to get from hormones. And one really great way to get that, one of the only other ways to get it, is by stimulating our body through weight training. It induces a stimulus to our central nervous system that we need to keep our metabolism growing, to keep building those muscle fibers, to keep that power and that explosive strength. So it's super critical for women to strength train. Another thing is, if you're experiencing osteoporosis, that was a question that I got from my aunt, actually, that, is it okay to strength train if you have osteoporosis? Absolutely. It's what you should be doing, because stressing the muscles, it stresses the bones, which encourages the bones to grow. So if you're experiencing weakening of the bones with osteoporosis, you need to be stimulating the muscles to encourage the bones to keep growing and continue to get strong. We can continue to build muscle. As it's declining, we can still be building and repairing. It's harder. It's a lot harder for our body to synthesize protein into muscle. So it's super important not only to do these activities that encourage the muscle growth, but to feed ourselves with protein. So those are two things that go hand in hand. I'm going to talk a little bit about the nutrition piece, but it's critical for women to be strength training. So there's many, many reasons. Yeah, so you want to feel confident in your body, totally, right? We want to feel confident as we age. And a lot of that confidence comes from feeling strong in your body, that you can move. And so the mobility piece, being flexible is great. I mean, yoga is great, stretching is great, but mobility, having strength through a range of motion is even more critical than being super flexible, right? So we talk about strength training, we talk about mobility, which is going through a range of motion and being strong in that range of motion. So these barriers that I touched on, such as, the mental piece, right? First, making the decision in your head, noticing the self-limiting beliefs, changing your story, telling yourself, I can do this. This is good for me. I'm good at it. I am strong. Like starting to talk to yourself like that is the first piece. The second piece is making the time, right? Time is a big barrier. And I get that. We're really busy. We've got lives. We've got people that we're caring for. We've got kids. We've got elderly parents. We've got jobs, right? Time is really, really hard. So it's starting to make it a habit. It's starting to make it as important as anything else in your life. And really, when you think about it, what is more important than your health? I can't really think of anything else, because if you don't have your health and your strength, then you can't be there for all the other people in your life. So it's making the decision that you can do it, and it's making the decision that you're going to do it, and then making the time for it, blocking it on your calendar, just scheduling it. I mean, it comes down to that. So, and the commitment piece is showing up for yourself, committing to yourself, following through on your commitment to yourself. But what can help with that is accountability, being accountable to someone else. So that's one of the reasons why having community like this, being in community with other women, finding a training partner, someone that, it can be me, it can be a coach, it can be a friend, but someone that you can say, hey, I'm going to go for a walk tomorrow. I'm going to do 10 minutes of strength training. Are you going to do it with me? Yes, we're going to show up. We're going to do this together. Texting your friend, hey, did you show up? Did you do it? Holding each other accountable is real. I mean, for me, I've been doing this a really long time, and I don't always want to do it. I don't feel like it. I'm bored. I'm tired. But action creates motivation. Doing the thing, showing, just getting there. The first step, getting to your mat, getting to your gym, get whatever it is, getting outside, taking the first step. You always feel better after you do it. I mean, guaranteed, you're going to feel better after you do that. You know that. So it's just starting is the hardest part. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you get started, to banish the fears, get over the fears, start changing the story that you're telling yourself, and empower you with some tools, right? So another barrier is making the space. Where do we do it? The reason why I'm doing the webinar here in my living room is because I work out right here. I teach classes from right here. I've got my, I'm going to show you in a few minutes my equipment. I mean, I've got equipment all over the place because it's my job. But the point is that you can do it in your living room. It doesn't have to be a big fancy setup. You don't have to have a gym membership. You don't have to have all the equipment. You can start right here, right now. Okay, so that I really want to stress that. The best time to start is now. The best place to start is here, right here and right now, today. And we're going to do that together. Okay. So, my course, Intro to Strength Training, is going to guide you with a structured program. So it's 6 weeks, and it takes you through, we're going to talk about today how to set up your home workout space, but step by step, how to get started and a program to follow. That's another thing, is like a barrier I see, is that people don't know what to do. They don't have a workout to follow, or they don't have a program to follow. So that's part of what's in the course, is a program to follow, so that you don't have to think about that. I was talking to one of my best friends who's here visiting, Julie, and she's like, one of the struggles that she finds, she's a very busy career woman. She travels a lot for work, and she doesn't, the time is one thing, and then she doesn't know what to do. So having a program, so that's in the course. So that's another thing, is you can get it from a coach. There's tons of apps, there's a million things out there, but that's something that will be included in the course. So, okay, so we talked a little bit about the why and the why not, breaking down those barriers. And that brings me to the when, right? So I touched on that. When is the best time to strength train? So that, that's kind of a little bit personally how it fits into your day. I like to get it done in the morning. But I want to talk about the power of now. And I want to do a little action with you. We're going to take some action right now. So if you will join me, what we're going to do is we're going to stand up. I'm going to raise up my desk here, and we're going to find a chair. So this is going to be, don't be scared. This is going to be really easy. Okay. So I want you to just find a chair, and I just want to show you right now something that you can do. Okay. And the reason why we're doing this is because we're going to move together. It's going to feel good. But I just also want to just illustrate that we can start right now with what you have. So I'm going to just tilt this down here. I have a chair right here. And all we're going to do, so when we get into strength training, and we're going to go, the course goes over this, there are fundamental movement patterns that show up over and over again. One of them is the squat. I would say the squat is probably like the most fundamental foundational movement. And all a squat is sitting down and standing up. Okay. So we're going to take our chair, come to our chair here. And we're just going to sit down and stand up. Okay, so come stand in front of your chair. You can place your feet at a comfortable stance, so a little bit wider than your hips. And then we're just going to sit down. Okay, so we just did a squat. We just sat down. And we're going to stand up. Okay, we're going to sit down. We're squatting. Okay, we're going to do this 3 more times. We're just going to stand up. And you can bring your arms out. Feel even weight through your feet. Okay, this is a squat. Super basic, fundamental movement. Now, if you do that a bunch of times, you're going to start to feel your legs burning, right? You're going to start to feel the muscle flow. You're going to start to feel your muscles working. We can make it harder by adding resistance and weight. We can make it harder by slowing down the tempo. So time under tension equals strength. And you can create time under tension lots of different ways, with tempo, with slowing things down on the concentric and the eccentric. You can add weight, building resistance. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to find some weight. So I have here a gallon jug of water. Okay, a gallon of water weighs about 8 pounds. So look around you right now, take a minute, look around. If you happen to have a gallon jug or a bottle of laundry soap, that might be a half gallon. Grab something, it could be a book, some weighted object, okay? If you have a dumbbell or a kettlebell or something, you can grab that. I just want to show you that you don't have to use weights. It can be a weighted object. Okay, so we're just going to take this weighted object. We're going to go back to our chair, and we're going to do some squats with some weight. We're going to hold it right in front of our chest. So we call this a goblet squat, like as if this thing was a goblet of wine, precious, valuable wine that we don't want to spill. Okay, we're just going to hold it in our chest, and we're going to sit down and stand up. Okay, we are now doing a weighted squat. Okay, good. So this time when we sit down, let's just pause for a second and then explode up. Okay, so we're going to change the tempo a little bit. We're going to make it a little harder. We're just going to pause and explode up. Good, let's do that 2 more times. So we're just sitting down, pause, hold, explode up. Okay, 1 more time. Sit down and explode up. Okay, can you feel your legs? You start to feel your legs a little bit. So I'm just saying that it's super simple, okay? You could do this, you could do 10 squats, rest, do 5 sets of 10 of these. You can make it harder. Let's try it this time. Let's do 5 more, but let's go really like as slow as you can. Slow, 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 slow. Pause, and then slow, 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 slow. 4 more like that. It's going to be harder because we're just slowing down. We're just creating more time under tension. Okay, so it's just getting harder because we're going slower. Same amount of weight, we're just having more time under tension. Oh, good. 1 more. Slow, 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 slow. Slow, 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 slow. Good, shake it out, okay? So you're starting to feel it. Super simple. That's a squat. You can put down your weight and rest. So it can be really easy. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated to get started. You just need to make the decision, tell yourself you can, make the time, put it on your calendar, find some support. It can be me, it can be an app, it can be a friend, but you need the accountability and you need a program to follow, right? So my course is going to have that. It's going to have the accountability, it's going to have the program, and it's going to get you to show up because it's going to be, you're going to have to show up to do it, okay? So I just really want to, I can't stress this enough, that you can do it right now. It doesn't have to be super complicated, okay? So I also wanted to talk about how to get your home workout space set up. And I'm gonna give you a link to a PDF that I created that goes over this, but I wanna talk about it briefly and show you here. So this is my living room. And the main thing about setting up your home workout space is to designate a space for your equipment. I happen to have right over here, and again, this is my job, so I've got equipment all over the place, but I have this little area where I have dumbbells, different types of dumbbells. I really like these. These are called rubber hex dumbbells. They're rubber and the shape of the hexagon here. I like these because I like the way they feel in my hands, and they're rubber, so if they drop, it's like not super dangerous. You can find these at Walmart, at Target, at Ross sometimes has them. I collect them. If I see a dumbbell at TJ Maxx, they're super cheap. So I've collected these over the years, but start to collect them. And people ask me, what weight should I get? Well, that depends on you, but I would say get something that feels light, something that feels medium, and something that feels heavy. This is a 15-pound weight. I see these little tiny dumbbells and I just want to laugh because we need to be lifting heavy weights. Eventually you're going to get to the point where the weights that you're lifting are going to be hard. For 5 reps, they're going to feel heavy. And for you, that might be 20 pounds. For me, it might be 50 pounds, but it's going to be relative to where you're at and so I can't say exactly how much. All I know is that it should be heavier than you think. I mean, if you're a mom, right, how much is a baby is 8 pounds. I mean, this gallon of water is 8 pounds. So you should have, your light weights are going to be 8 pounds. Maybe, it's going to get heavy as you put it over your head and stand here and hold it. That's going to start to feel really heavy. But my point is that you should have weights ideally that are light, medium, and heavy. Heavy is going to be heavier than you think. You can lift a lot more weight than you think. I mean, how much is a suitcase? You can manage to carry your suitcase, right? I mean, you want to get to the point where you're carrying your suitcase when you have to lift it from the curb, to put it on the baggage thing or up above you is not going to kill you. So I'm just saying that, these little weights, these are great, but you also need some bigger weights. Okay, so start to think about collecting them. They're valuable. I mean, I love my weights. You can't get enough. Okay, so start collecting your weights. These are kettlebells. So there's lots of different kinds. You'll see, I was at Target the other day, and in the the sports equipment section, they have these really cute gold kettlebells with pink, but that are, they're lovely. So they can be any color. They can be just this, this steel. Russians developed these as a tool for strength training. They're very versatile. You can do a ton of things with kettlebells. I love kettlebells. So I have, get a little one. This is a 12-pound. They go down to 8 pounds. You can get a little one, but also get a bigger one. Okay. So kettlebells are great. The other thing that I love is, so it's good to have a mat. A yoga mat is perfectly fine. Get a basket to keep your stuff in. Have it somewhere that is a designated area and that you can have it all together so it's all accessible. You don't have to run around and gather it. It's all right there for you. These resistance bands are great. And you can get these. I'm going to give you guys a PDF that has links where you can order them online. But they come in different resistance, different thicknesses. They'll be all different colors. It's good to have one that's thinner, less resistance, and then one that's thicker. There's even thicker ones than this. So a couple different thicknesses and resistance of these resistors. These are very versatile. If you are rehabbing from an injury or you're really just trying to build strength, the resistance bands are great. So we use a mix of dumbbells, kettlebells, and resistance bands. Lots of stuff we can do with these. These are great for traveling. And the other kind are these little bands. This one says extra heavy. These you can find, again, at TJ Maxx or Ross or Marshalls. You can find packs of these little resistance bands in different thicknesses. They're called hip or booty bands. Sometimes they're like in a thicker fabric elastic material. These are, again, very versatile. We can do a lot with this. You can build, great strength with these resistance bands, and they're packable. I love these. So that's the main thing for strength equipment are resistance bands, dumbbells, kettlebells, and then a mat. Other things, and this is in the PDF, it's really good to have a timekeeping device. Everyone's got a phone, so that's good. But when we start to get into sets and reps and things like that, you're going to want a timekeeping device for your workouts. So that's the main, those are the main things for getting started, is telling yourself you can do it, telling yourself you have to do it, making it as important as anything else in your life, your doctor's appointment or work or whatever, getting it on your schedule, showing up, and then having a program to follow, which can be me, it can be my program. I just want you to do it. There's a million programs out there. Start trying, start looking on YouTube, looking online. I'm always looking at different. I happen to be following one particular program that I like that works for me. But start experimenting, get out there, ask your friends what they're doing. Most of the time I find that people have tried a million different things and they haven't stuck with it. And I do think that when we get to be a little bit older, maybe things that didn't work before are not working anymore. So we need to try a different approach. My approach is starting where you are, first of all, that any movement can be scaled and modified to where you're at. So, my mom who's here, she might be doing squatting to a chair. I might be squatting with a barbell on my back. We're still getting the same stimulus. We're still basically performing the same movement at a modification that's appropriate to where we're at. So I may be lifting, 200 pounds. She may be just doing an air squat with no weight at all, but we're still, providing a stimulus to our muscles. We're still engaging in a strenuous activity that's going to cause stress and then encourage our muscles to repair. So we're building strength. So starting where we are, but the main thing is just to start, and that can be now. So let's see. I think I'm going to open it up. If anybody has any questions at this point, if there's anything that you want to touch on, I'm going to look through and see if I missed anything. Let's see. Yeah, so Luna says lifestyle exertion hasn't been enough, right? So even people, I don't know if you guys have seen the Blue Zone documentary that just came out, really, really interesting about, they're finding that people that are living longest in these certain areas all over the world, their lifestyle just includes physical activity, which is great. Gardening, walking, those things are, great and are gonna, encourage longevity, and they're good for their weight bearing, right? Walking up a hill is weight bearing, working in the garden, but it's not intentional, specific weight training, and it doesn't provide that stimulus to the muscles that we need to preserve and maintain and build muscle as we age. So that activity is important mentally and spiritually and physically for our cardiovascular system and everything else, but we still need to engage in the muscle building activities. Let's see. Yeah, working through pain or injuries, that's a really good one. So I have found I've dealt with that a long time, many different types of nagging injuries. Luckily, I haven't sustained any real severe injuries that have kept me unable to move for a long time. But one of the reasons why is because I listen to my body. So having the discernment to be able to tell if it's pain from an injury or you're just hurting because you're putting stress on your body. So there's a little bit of, it's gonna hurt. Things are gonna hurt. You're gonna get sore, but that's okay. And you can work through that. One of the things that I teach in my course and in my programs is self myofascial release and ways that we can work on our body to, massage using a lacrosse ball and a foam roller and things like that to help repair and work through some pain and injuries. But the main thing is to keep moving and finding a way that you can keep moving with the pain or the injury. So if your knee is bothering you, ultimately, usually we need to strengthen the muscles around it. We need to keep moving somehow so that there's blood flow still, so that the body can heal itself. I definitely think that you should get the okay from your doctor before you start any program. However, most of the time we need to keep moving and we need to strengthen, and that's going to help prevent and be able to recover from injury. So that is a barrier, and it can be something that stops us from starting. But just starting to move to still showing up, always ask me. I can give you a modification if there's something that's bothering you. If it's a lower back thing, I have a whole lower back protocol. A lot of times we just really need to get blood flowing and get some type of mobility into the area to promote the body's own healing. Yeah, what can we do with an injury? I totally can relate to that. I've got some shoulder stuff that I've been dealing with most of my life, and I'm constantly working around that. And a lot of times it's starting with mobilization, which is maybe working on the area with the lacrosse ball, getting some blood flow to the area, and then some activation. So activating the muscles, strengthening the muscles, putting it through a range of motion, and then stabilizing it, building the strength in that range of motion, getting into the right position, and then building the strength. So that's part of the process. And it's, every day you wake up, and as we get older, our bodies change, and things are gonna come up. You might just have slept wrong, or maybe you worked a little too hard or something and you're sore, or something's out. So that's something that you just deal with. And part of the process of going through the workout is warming up. We spend time not just stretching, but mobilizing and activating with the foam roller, paying attention to our body, kind of just doing a check-in and a body scan, seeing what feels tight today, what do we need to work on. And if you're with me in one of my classes, I'll ask everyone, does anybody have anything they're dealing with today? Does that, or maybe we'll just spend a little extra time on the warm up with some lower back, flow to get that moving. So it's, I would say that it's part of the process, and it's something that we just constantly need to be working with, but it shouldn't stop us. I mean, I think one of the worst things you can do is stop moving. We need to keep moving and find a way to work around whatever you're dealing with. So that's, yeah, lower back protocol. I can do that. I can forward that to you, Marcy. Thank you. So lifting, not feeling like you're making progress in terms of heavier bench, back squat, pace of progress. So setting realistic goals is another part of the process, and keeping track, first of all. That's something that ultimately you want to get to, is where somehow you're keeping track of what you're doing so that you can refer back to that. When you really get into weight training, you will work up to what we call a 1RM, your 1 rep max. So you know how much you can possibly lift in a particular movement. And then you can work off percentages of your 1 rep max. What I've been working with a lot lately, which I really love, is called the RPE, the rate of perceived effort. So I'll say, okay, we're going to do 5 sets of 5 reps, and I want you to start at an RPE of 5 and work up to an RPE of 8. So that means on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being 0 effort, feels like you could do it all day. And then by the time you get to 5, feeling like, okay, that's a moderate effort, or maybe like 50% of what you feel like your absolute max would be. An RPE 10 would be like your absolute max. You couldn't do 1 more rep. You couldn't, do any more. So we'll work up to that. And I want you to get of an RPE of 8. And for you, that might be different today than it was yesterday. So instead of saying your percentage of what your 1 rep max is, maybe you don't even know what that is. You can work off that number, that scale of 1 to 10. So if you're feeling like you're not making progress, first of all, are you keeping track? Are you writing down, how much you're lifting so you know? Okay, you are. So again, there's different ways to progress, and there's different systems of following a progression and writing a program. It's called progressive overload. So we'll start off with a certain amount of, we call them reps and sets, right? A rep is 1 repetition. That's 1 time that you do the movement. And a set is how many repetitions at a time. So 1 set will be, let's say 5 reps. That's 1 set. And I want you to do 5 sets of 5, right? So that's 5 by 5. And then the next day or the next time we do that movement, maybe we'll do 5 sets of 6, or we'll increase the weight. So we're progressively building. So I don't know, how, what type of progression you're following, but generally I like to work in like 6-week blocks. So we'll progress through a movement. Maybe we'll start our squat by doing squatting to a chair. Next time we do it, we'll add some weight, a goblet squat. Next time we do it, we won't use the chair. We'll do the goblet squat. So we'll progress the movement by changing the time under tension, right? And we may do that with tempo. We may do that with adding weight. We may do that with adding different reps and sets, but that's part of following a program. And that's what I offer, in my course and in my programs. It's a progressive overload so that you're progressing at a rate that's going to encourage you to build. And sometimes you may plateau. It's harder to, as we age, right, we're working against our body's own decline. So we're maybe just trying to stay the same, and that's great. For me, I probably reached a peak this past August in terms of my strength. However, I'm still making gains because my technique is getting better. So, that's another thing that as we age, we have to be really pay more attention to our mechanics and our technique and the positions in weight training and in fitness in general. When we talk about these fundamental movements, being able to get your body into the right position will enable you to, be able to move more weight. If you don't have the mobility to squat, that's going to affect how deep you can go. So we work on range of motion. We work on being stable and in the right position. So for instance, generally speaking, you want to be able to squat below parallel to get all the way down here. But this is really hard for people. And if we're squatting where we're holding a weight overhead, getting down here, I've got to have mobility in my hips, my knees, my ankles, my shoulders. So I'm just saying that as we progress, we're going to be working on all of these things. We're going to be working on a range of motion, being able to get into the right position, holding it close to our body. So we're using our structure of our skeleton to stack everything up and be as efficient as possible. So when we talk about progressing, you're going to be progressing in your range of motion and in your efficiency, as well as the amount of weight that you can lift. And I don't care how much weight you can lift. I don't care what the numbers are. I'd rather see you performing an efficient movement and a correct movement pattern that's going to be safe and prevent injury and get you stronger ultimately in that stable range of motion. So that's kind of a long answer to that question. But in terms of making progress, yeah, we're going to be following, a program that's going to progress, and it's going to build on your skill and your ability to get into the position safely. Let's see. So I want to touch briefly on the nutrition piece, because that goes hand in hand with building muscle. Generally speaking, I mentioned this earlier, right? We have this internalized belief that we need to restrict ourselves and eat less. And that's part of the paradigm shift that we need to switch, is that we need to be nourishing ourselves. Science and research has shown that women perform better in an unfasted state. So starving ourselves and restricting ourselves keeps our bodies in a state of stress, which raises our cortisol level, which makes us hold on to weight. So it's counterintuitive, right? We actually need to feed ourselves. We need to be nourished. So I encourage you, before you start any type of weight training or working out, to have a little bit of something to eat. It doesn't have to be a big meal, but about ideally like an hour to an hour and a half before, have a substantial meal with protein and some good carbs and a little bit of fat. So nourish yourself. You're going to perform much better. If you are doing it early and you don't want to have a lot in your stomach, even just like a banana, just something, get your body out of the catabolic state, the breakdown state, and to just tell your body, hey, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be experiencing some stress, but it's going to be okay. I'm going to be able to repair, and give yourself a little bit of fuel. So we want to think about putting gas in our tank, fueling ourselves so that we can perform. So the nutrition and nourishment piece is a really big thing. And I go into that more in my course, and then in my other programs too. It goes hand in hand. You can't out train a bad diet, and we need to be nourishing ourselves, especially as we age and we're experiencing hormonal shifts, really paying attention to making sure that we're getting quality protein. The latest research, and I've really been diving into this, we need a minimum of 0.7 grams of protein per 1 pound of body weight, up to one gram of protein per pound of body weight. So that should be your protein target. And then you want to be getting lots of fruits and veggies, like 2 servings, 2 big handfuls of fruits and veggies at every meal, 3 times a day. So lots of fruits and veggies, and hitting that protein target. And then, obviously not drinking alcohol and eating sugar. You probably know that. So that's just a little bit about the nutrition piece, but making sure you're getting good quality protein. If you're plant-based, that's fine. It's harder to get the protein. You need to pay more attention to it, but really trying to focus on that, at least 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. If you feel like you have more than 20 to 25 pounds of weight you want to let go of, then it can be related to your ideal body weight, that 0.7 grams of protein per ideal pound of ideal body weight. So that's just a little nugget about the nutrition piece, but it is super important. So I am going to talk, I obviously wanted to introduce you to the course I'm about to launch. It's going to launch October 23rd, and it's called Intro to Strength Training for Women. And it's a 6-week self-guided digital course, and it really goes more in depth over the different types of equipment, what to do with the dumbbell, what to do with the kettlebell, what to do with the bands. And then it talks about those fundamental movement patterns that I mentioned, the squat, there's the hinge, there's the press, there's pulling, there's lunging, and there's rotation. And those movements show up over and over. And so really getting comfortable in those movements, and the movements that we do repetitively when we're strength training, we go over that. It provides you with workouts to follow, and different tips. It's going to give you really like a foundation so that you can do your own workouts at home. It's going to go more into depth about reps and sets, and how to structure a workout, different formats of workouts, EMOMs and AMRAPs, and for time. So different ways to think about making a workout for yourself. so that you can do it at home, or you can go into a gym and you can kind of, say, hey, okay, I can go over there, I can do a workout wherever you are if you're traveling. And then, so there's the basic 6-week course is a self-guided program. And then there's a VIP level, which includes access to a Facebook group where we'll all be together, and I'll be coming in live once a week to talk about the program and any questions that anyone has. And then there's a premium membership, which includes access to my twice a week live Zoom class where we'll be working out together. So I'm gonna send you the links to all of those. And if you sign up tonight or tomorrow, you're gonna get the $199 rate for the 6-week program, which is, it's gonna go up. You're also gonna get a free one-on-one strategy session with me, where we can go over everything that's coming up for you personally with your strength training, with your fitness, with your nutrition. So that's gonna be included in the $199. And then the VIP price is $299, and then the premium is $897. So I'm going to send you all that information, and you guys are going to get first access to that pricing. It's going to go up after this webinar, after tomorrow. So I'm doing this because I feel like, even though there's a million programs out there and we've all tried and stopped and started a million times, there hasn't been anything that really just gets you started, really introduces you to how to do these fundamental movements, how to use the equipment, so that you feel empowered in yourself and you can get going no matter where you are. And having the accountability piece, right? Like having us together, getting it on your calendar, talking to each other, having someone that's going to hold you accountable, and creating that community. So I'm here for you. I can do it. You can do it. We can do it with each other. You can connect. I'm going to be sending out, I'll send out the recording to everyone. And I just encourage you to, like I said in the beginning, to start noticing where you're stopping yourself and to start to change that story. That's really the first step. Telling yourself that you can, making it a priority, making yourself the priority. I know that, as women, we tend to take care of everyone else first, especially if you've got kids or you've got, a partner or parents that you're taking care of, or your job. But ultimately, we need to start prioritizing ourselves. And it's not selfish. It's really actually being the best that you can for everyone else around you, is taking care of yourself and being the strongest and healthiest that you can be for yourself. So if anyone has any other questions, I will open it. Yes, alcohol and its effects on the body, Eliza, totally. Andrew Huberman is, he's someone that I follow. He does have some podcasts on muscle growth and the optimum way to build muscle. I can't remember the guest that he had, but it was an expert on that. So yeah, if you're interested in the science behind this, Andrew Huberman is a great one. Dr. Rhonda Patrick is someone that I follow. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, Gabrielle Reese has a great podcast on, health and longevity. She talks a lot about stuff for women. I'm really interested in the science and the latest research. Another woman that I follow, that I encourage you to follow too, is Dr. Stacy Sims. Her book, Next Level, is specifically for active menopausal women. Her first book, Roar, was for women. And she is basically has dedicated her life to doing research on women, because most of the research has been on young men, and it really is different for women. We respond differently, for instance, to fasting. Fasting is not really the most beneficial thing for women. As I mentioned, it keeps us in that state of stress. And for men, it can be more beneficial. So yeah, I encourage you to, get educated, ask the questions, share information with each other, right? The more that we can talk about our stories and what's working and what's not working, the more empowered we can be. So any other questions? Thank you so much for coming today, you guys. It's been my pleasure to be able to share this time together. And I'm going to, right now, let's see, I'm going to drop this PDF for you. If I can grab it here. This is going to be a PDF on how to set up your home workout space. Let's see here if I can get this link. Sorry. It goes over everything I talked about, and it has links for where to get stuff. Okay, so that's there. That's how to set up your home workout space with links on resistance bands and dumbbells. And like I said, start collecting weights. You don't need weights to start. You can use gallons of water. You can use a tote bag with books. But just start looking around when you go to Target, pick one up. They're not cheap, but they're, not astronomical. And Walmart is really great. And like I said, Ross and TJ Maxx, I've gotten really good deals on dumbbells there. So just start collecting weights. And let's see, I also wanted to give you the link to sign up for the course that is going to, do I have it? Where is it? Should have that right here, but I don't. The course that launches October 23rd, I believe, and you guys get special access to it. Gosh, I don't have it right here. Okay, I'm going to send it to you. Oh, wait, here we go. Okay. This is the link to sign up. For the 6-week course, and then the VIP and the premium. Like I said, if you sign up today, by tomorrow, you get a free one-on-one strategy session with me. And we can talk about anything you need. When I do the strategy sessions, I send you an intake form that asks you questions about your nutrition and your life. And so I get a sense of where you're at and how I can best help you. What comes after the 6-week course? That's a really great question. So I have been working on launching, I have a program basically. So you will have a program to follow. The membership is going to continue. So we'll have the lives. I probably will do an intermediate course as well. Right now, I'm just really trying to launch this getting started. And then by then you would be able to follow my program, which will be the workouts, right? And those will be delivered to you. I've been working on launching an app. I was working with a developer. I haven't found the right platform yet, but that's in progress. So there will be a program for you to follow, which is, the workouts that you get delivered to you. There'll be probably a 3 and 5 day a week program. And my workouts are structured so that they start with a strength training piece, and then they have a conditioning piece. So the strength training piece may be 20 minutes, the conditioning piece may be 20 minutes. So you can pick and choose, and you can say, today I'll always prioritize the strength, do that first. And in general, if you're already walking, if you're doing yoga, if you're swimming, if you're biking, that is awesome. But you really should be doing some strength training 2 to 3 times a week for about 20 to 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be a lot, but getting in that dedicated, intentional strength training time where you're getting up to those last 5 reps are feeling really hard for you, whatever that is. I don't care how much weight you're moving, as long as for you, it feels hard. Okay, that's going to be creating that stimulus that we need to build the muscle. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. It's great to meet you all. I am going to send you the recording, and please share it. I'm going to post this to YouTube also. So share it, spread the word, and I'll be talking more about the course and all my social media channels. But I really appreciate you being here. And if you have any questions that come up afterwards, feel free to reach out to me. All right, have a wonderful day, everyone. Stay strong.